I couldn't resist a younger guy and spent the night with him, but now my husband knows everything.
I've promised myself never to attend a bachelor's party again, and trust me, guys, I have my valid reasons. The last bachelor's party I attended ended up in me sleeping with an athlete and cheating on my husband. I messed up big time, and I can only hope that things don't end up getting worse than it already is. I've always been told that bachelor parties are wild and unpredictable, but I never imagined being at the receiving end of the wild activities. I never even imagined participating in any of the wild activities at all. That's why it breaks my heart to realize that I let my guard down, and now I've done something despicable. I'm very scared, guys. I'm so scared that I do not know what to do. I'm scared that my husband would find out, and then I'll be done for. I just know that he will never let this go or forgive me. There's no chance that the man I married will just overlook everything that happened that night. I'm scared, and I have many reasons to be scared. My name is Elena, and I'm a 31-year-old dancer and choreographer. I've been a choreographer for almost 10 years of my life. It's something that I fell in love with at a very young age. I'm married to a journalist, and I'll not be revealing his real name because I want to keep his identity private. I will just refer to my husband as Dane. He's 32 years old and he has an obsession for journalism. A dancer and a journalist? I know some of you might wonder how such an odd match ever came to be. To be honest, sometimes I also wonder how we managed to get married despite our weird professional comparisons. Dane and I have been married for 3 years now. We do not have children yet because we're always traveling for one thing or another. We decided not to have kids until we're perfectly sure that we would have enough time to raise them properly. I travel a lot because of my job as a dancer and choreographer, and that's how I ended up traveling to Chicago for a wedding. It's a client's wedding, and I literally didn't know anyone there except the client who had been an old friend of mine. It's that particular wedding that led me to be in this narrow-minded state I'm currently in. Now, I wish I rejected the job and never truly went to that wedding, but I guess that wish could only come true if wishes were horses, and unfortunately they are not. When I first got the gig, I spoke to my husband about it because I always took his permission before traveling for my job. He also takes permission from me before traveling for work-related activities. Forgive me for using the term gig. I think I'm old school and have the tendency to call things in a weird manner. Don't judge me, lol. When I spoke to Dane about it, he didn't have a problem. It was normal for me to travel for work, and he never complained. I think the reason he's always chilled about it is because he also travels for work on several occasions. Maybe he feels guilty and just decides that it's best if we have a mutual understanding. To be honest, neither Dane or I are home regularly, guys. Our schedules collide a lot, and that makes it hard for us to stay home together. You see the reason we decided to pause on having kids, right? If we had kids now, we'd be the world's worst parents ever. Except we hire a nanny, of course. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Dane gave me permission to go to Chicago for my work. He also told me that he'd be traveling for work, too. So, we both left the house yet again. When I landed in Chicago, it was a lot of work that awaited me. As a choreographer, I think one of my hardest challenges is managing choreography for weddings. It's the worst type of workload to ever have, but I have no choice but to indulge in it because I need to earn that money. My job was to teach the couple and their bridesmaids, groomsmen, some extra choreography that they could use for a perfect wedding entrance. They wanted something like those trendy couple entrances online. It's very hard to teach dance to couples who know nothing about dance or rhythm. It was very difficult for me, and by the time I flew there, I had just 2 weeks to make sure everyone was good in their respective distinctions. I almost gave up at the end of the day because none of them were cooperating as much as I wanted them to. I'm not joking when I say that I almost had a mental breakdown. Yeah, things like that are not foreign to my job, and anytime it happens, I like to call my husband and have a long talk with him. I did that almost throughout that particular trip, but I had to stop the moment Dane told me he had been occupied and had to work. I don't know what suddenly came into me or why I agreed to attend that particular bachelor's party. I'd never attended most of the bachelor's parties I'd been invited to while at work. The rare cases where I attended those parties were either because the couples were relatives or close friends of mine. That particular couple were just friends of mine that I met in college. When they invited me to their bachelor's party, I said no instantly. I didn't even ask for room to think about it. I just knew immediately that it was not something I wanted to do. One of my reasons for initially declining my request is because I had been exhausted from all the dancing and teaching I did. But the couple didn't take my no for an answer at all. They kept pestering me and asking me to come. Now I wish that I had held my ground and stuck to the no I said to them when they first asked. I'm sure that if I had just held on a little bit, things would have turned out differently. When I went to the bachelor's party, I realized that it was not the normal kind of bachelors. The couple did not have their bachelor's party separately. Instead, they did it together. It was really wild, and easily I stepped into the club. I knew that I should have really stayed home and not honored the invitation. There were drinks all over the place and people dancing like there was no tomorrow. I think any of you reading this who has been to a bachelor's party before would understand what I am talking about. It's crazy how couples just decide to celebrate in such a wild manner. This particular couple left no stone unturned, and they made sure that they went as wild as they possibly could. I felt so out of place that I did not think twice before asking to leave. The only problem was that I had arrived in the couple's car, and they were the ones who brought me to the club. I was not really familiar with Chicago that much, because I had not been there many times before. I wanted to go and ask the couples if they could call a taxi for me and tell the taxi exactly where to drop me off. But after thinking about it, I refused to do that because I thought it would be inconsiderate for me to go to stop the couple when they were having fun. I also didn't want to be a burden because I did not want to find myself in an uncomfortable situation. It did not help that I was really scared of the taxi driver taking me to an unknown location, and I would not even realize because I was not that familiar with Chicago. I'm one of those women that are big overthinkers and read into every single detail. I can become paranoid over the most trivial things, and I would give you the same reasons why I am right. I decided to just stay at the party and try my best to hold on till the couple were ready to be. I knew that it was not going to be early because the couple did not look like they planned on leaving the party that early. I just walked around and tasted the food that they had on display. I never want to miss a chance to eat good food. While I was walking around and eating anything in sight, a guy waved at me and gestured for me to come sit with him. I know that many of you will just call that the most cheesy thing you've ever heard, and to be honest, I was quite surprised that any guy had the courage to wave at me. I was so stupid that I thought I had a cardboard on my head that said married, and so I never really expected any guy to call out to me. But I was wrong, and the fact that I was married was not visible to everyone. I don't have a wedding ring if that's what you're thinking. It didn't even last 6 months before I lost it somewhere. My husband also misplaced his too, and I'm sure we are not the only couple who could not keep their wedding rings. Our job is very demanding and rough, and we understood that there was no way we could keep something as small as a ring. The first few weeks after my wedding, I had to struggle to keep it on while dancing. Sometimes it would slip off my fingers, and other times it would get stuck on my fingers. When I used to misplace it, I will try my best and look for it. But as time went on, I stopped trying, and I finally lost it because I knew that I would still be placed at the end of the day. My husband lost it while he was waiting in line with some of his colleagues to get an important interview. The struggle journalists go through just to be the one to take the interview and shove their mic into the face of the person they want to interview is wild. My husband always tells me about it, and it's a thing I'm always fascinated about. I'm sorry to deviate. I just wanted to make you guys understand that I did not intentionally lose my wedding ring, and I did not drop it off at the hotel intentionally. When the guy called me and gestured for me to come sit with him, I tried to pretend like I did not see him calling out to me. I just assumed that he was drunk, and he would eventually go away when he was tired. But at the end of the day, I was actually wrong, and he did not go away. He walked up to me and was smiling from ear to ear. I'm not even joking, guys. I'm telling the truth. I honestly believed that he was drunk, but I later discovered that he was not drunk at all. Instead of leaving like I thought he would, he introduced himself. I'm not going to say his real name because I don't want to reveal his identity too. I'll just refer to him as Brandon. He asked me for my name and I told him my name. I'm not going to lie. I actually found Brandon attractive when he walked up to me. I could obviously see back then that he had extremely white teeth that looked like those ones they bought with a lot of money. He had a diamond earring on one of his ears. It looked like a diamond earring. I'm not sure if it's fake or not. I think he's like one of those guys that look like they put a lot of money into their outfit and all. I did not understand why he was suddenly interested in talking to me, but I did not push him away. Before Brandon came to talk to me, I already had 1 or 2 drinks, so I was quite tipsy and jovial. I don't even know what the bartender mixed for me, and I drank. It looked good, and I just had a taste of it, but I could tell immediately after taking it that it was something strong. Brandon just started off by talking to me, and we spoke about random things. He asked me if I was related to the couple, and I said I was their choreographer. I also asked him what relationship he had with the couple, and he told me that he was a distant cousin of the groom. We went from having conversation to casually laughing, and I honestly don't even remember what we were laughing about. The party had gotten wilder, and people were dancing and puking and drinking and doing several things in the club. I'd never imagined that a bachelor party could go so crazy, and I even saw the couple doing several crazy things with other people. I was caught off guard when Brandon pulled me onto the dance floor. I'm not trying to play the victim card by saying that he just pulled me onto the dance floor. I was very aware of it, but I did not try to fight him. I let him drag me to the dance floor, and I felt really lightheaded. I know that I was not drunk and that I was somewhere between being conscious and being tipsy. The music and environment played a role, and I just went with the flow. I don't know if it was Brandon's expensive look and confidence, but I just know that I had been drawn to him at that moment. We danced, and we even had drinks together, and that was it, before things got wild. It first started from a kiss, and I don't know how it got crazy. I'm being honest when I say that I did not plan for it to get that far. But I would also be lying if I say that I did not indulge him in any way. For everything he did, I know that I gave him the courage to continue doing it. I felt, and I still feel like I am a very loose woman, because I encouraged Brandon in so many ways. I woke up the next morning in an unknown location, and Brandon was right next to me. That's when it all made sense to me. I spent the night with Brandon, a total stranger that I didn't even know from anywhere. I practically ran out of the hotel room because I was very ashamed of myself. I could not believe that I had cheated on my husband with a total stranger. The fact that I did not know Brandon before made it more disrespectful and crazy. Before leaving the hotel, Brandon gave me his business card, which contained all his information. He told me that he liked the night we spent together and would like to see me again. I only agreed to take the business card after he showed me the protection he had used because I was very scared that he did not use protection. It was on that business card that I discovered that Brandon was an athlete, and I even had to look him up online. He was a young athlete in his mid-20s, and I could not believe that I had slept with somebody that was 6 years younger than me. It felt surreal, and I honestly believed that something had gotten into me. But I knew that wasn't the truth. Prior to the bachelor's party, I'd been counting down the days till I left Chicago. But immediately after that party, I've been praying that time would stop till I was able to gather enough courage to see my husband. Well, time stops for no one, and I did not suddenly become an exception. I don't know how to say this, but I met with the consequences of my actions. I've started feeling the weight of what I did even without revealing the truth to my husband. The guilt slaps harder than anything I've ever experienced, and it's honestly crazy. I thought it was the couples who usually ended bachelor parties in crazy decisions, but I ended up being the one with the crazy decision. An athlete? Seriously? I cheated on my husband with a young athlete? I'm honestly very disgusted in myself. I wasn't even present on the wedding day, and I didn't take much videos like I usually did. I just hid into my shell and tried my best to pretend like everything was okay, when though I was firmly sure that nothing was okay. The wedding ended 1 week ago, but I'm still in Chicago. I don't have the courage to leave Chicago right now. My husband has been blowing up my phone consistently for the past few days, but I have intentionally ignored all his calls. I can't do it. How will I tell him? I have no choice than to go back tomorrow. Please help me, guys. I don't know what to do. I will be very honest. The truth is that I don't want him to find out. I still love him and I regret my decision. But I can't imagine losing him for anything in this world. I messed up big time, but I'm not ready to give up on him. I feel like a selfish fool and I know I am, but help me here. Update. I got caught, guys. Dane found out the truth on his own. I thought time would take my troubles away, but I guess that time only made it worse. They say time heals wounds, but it just made my own wound bigger. The funny thing is that the wound is not even mine in the first place. I'm the one who went ahead and ruined my marriage with my act of irresponsibility and stupidity. I had to finally leave Chicago because I could not stay there forever, at the end of the day, even though I wanted to. It took a lot of personal affirmation for me to finally go back to my house. I spent a lot of money renting a hotel in Chicago, and I think it was one of the things that gave me a reality check and said, I needed to go back. When I got back, I was very happy that my husband was not at home. I checked the many messages he sent me, but I did not reply. I couldn't even bring myself to open the messages for days, but I was finally able to check the messages when I got back to the house. He said in one of his messages that he was going on another work trip. He already left for the work trip a day before I got back. I felt relieved to know that I would not have to face him immediately, and that I would have some time to gather my thoughts and think of what to do. I was practically left in a state of denial because I didn't want to come into the present and accept what I have done. I kept trying to draw it out and pretend it was all a dream, but I realized that I was not helping myself and that I was only making matters worse. I read most of the comments you all dropped, but I think I stopped halfway when I realized that the comments were doing me more good and bad. A lot of people said a lot of hurtful things to me, and I can swear that it got to me. What is worse is the fact that I know that I deserved all of the insults and judgment I got. This is the first time I have ever shared my story on Reddit and made myself vulnerable to public scrutiny and judgment. And I do honestly hope that this will be the last time I will share a story on Reddit too. You guys remember that I told you my husband kept calling me continuously, but I ignored him. He left a lot of voice notes, and I was finally able to listen to them when I gathered my thoughts. In most of the voice notes, he sounded very angry, and he kept on saying that I was being very mysterious for not answering his calls and ignoring his text. The last voice note sent was the one that showed me just how angry he was. He sounded very furious, and he even told me that he would travel to Chicago if I did not call him back. I just assumed that it was a threat and that he would not follow through with it. By the time I even listened to that voice note, I was already out of Chicago. Thankfully, he also said he went for work, so he was not able to follow through with his threat. I finally decided to tell my husband the truth after most of the comments I read on Reddit. The comments made me understand that keeping the truth from my husband would only make me more of a selfish, lying woman, and that I made the decision and I should be ready to dance to the tunes of the music I played. I'm not going to come here and lie like I decided to tell the truth, just because many people said that I should tell the truth. It took a lot of convincing myself and seeing the truth from other people's perspective for me to actually decide to tell him the truth. I finally realized that I had been selfish to think that it was okay to cheat on my husband and then decide to keep the truth from him. Just like most people called me in the comments, I think I am actually an entitled woman, and it is very wrong. It's one thing to cheat, and it's another thing to try to keep the truth. When all this is over and the truth is finally revealed, I don't want him to finally end up hating me. One of the reasons I also finally decided to tell him the truth is because the athlete kept on messaging me. Apparently, he had gotten my phone number from the groom, who was his distant cousin. When I asked him how he was able to get the phone number, he said he lied to the groom and said he wanted to hire me for an event. I blocked him immediately after I found out how he got my number, but he kept messaging me with different numbers. I had to switch off my phone completely and start using another phone with a separate SIM because I was tired of receiving his calls. Every moment he tested me or tried to reach out to me just made me relieve the horrible thing I had done. He was like a bad glue that was stuck to me. At some point after I switched my phone back on, I noticed that he stopped texting and calling me. After I noticed that I finally deleted all the call logs and text messages he sent to me, that was how I was finally able to start using my SIM again. My husband only spent 1 week on his work trip before he finally got back. When he came back immediately, he asked me to sit down and have an important conversation with him. I'd been very shocked and scared, and I honestly believed that he had found out the truth. But ultimately, I discovered I was wrong because the conversation did not go the way I expected it to go. He was very angry, and he kept asking me why I suddenly decided to act the way I acted in Chicago. It was the perfect opportunity for me to tell him the truth and what happened, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it at that moment. I apologized to him and said that I was sick in Chicago. He didn't believe me at all and suggested that I had been up to something, and that was why I intentionally ignored him. He was so angry that he did not speak to me for the whole day since he got back. That day, I ran to the toilet and cried my eyes out. I kept asking myself that if he was angry at me for just ghosting him for a week, then how would he feel when he found out what I had done? It made me realize that I might have underestimated the gravity of what I had done. I got to understand that there was no way he was going to forgive me, and I slowly began to accept that. Even though I had been preparing to tell him the truth, I was still not fully prepared for when he found out. I never even expected him to find out on his own, and I can tell you all that I was not prepared at all. The level of shock and anxiety that hit me the moment he confronted me was nerve, actually. I have not been prepared, and it was that scenario that made me regret not telling him sooner. It was a Saturday morning, and both of us were at home for the first time in a very long time. My husband had still been very angry with me, and we were not in talking terms for a very long time. I made lunch for us, and I served him in the living room because he was watching TV. I did not expect him to suddenly push the food down till the plate shattered on the floor. The hot food almost burnt my skin, and I almost stepped on the shattered plate because of how shocked I had been. I got upset with him and asked him why he was acting like a child. Imagine me foolishly trying to think that I could scold him, not knowing that I was about to receive the shock of my life. To my surprise, he brought out his phone, increased his brightness, and then shoved the phone into my hands. When I squinted my eyes to see what he was trying to show me, my breath almost left me instantly. There were snaps of the text messages Brandon had sent to me. From the date, I could see that there were recent messages. I could not even believe that Dane was able to snap the texts that I didn't even know existed when I didn't even see them myself. I didn't even realize that I had underestimated just how smart my husband was. He was a journalist, and I had forgotten about that while I was caught up in my own personal problems. The messages were so recent that I was very sure that there were not the same messages I had deleted. I realized that he had searched my phone without me even knowing it, and that was where he took the pictures, the text from. One of the messages consisted of these words: "I can't forget that night even though I've tried. Please stop ignoring me so I can see you again." Those were the disgusting messages he sent to me, and I can't even write them all. I'm so embarrassed that my own husband read all those messages. I forgot all about Brandon because he has stopped sending me messages for some time. I didn't bother checking again, and I was so caught up with trying to figure out how to tell my husband the truth that I did not even think of trying to hide the texts. I didn't even know that any such text existed at all. I was so surprised that I could not move, and I just stared at the phone like it was the only thing that could save me from the situation I had found myself, or rather than the situation I had brought upon myself. Dane shook his head while he was looking at me and spat on the floor. He told me that I took his trust and shoved it out of the window. He said it was because of women like me that men could not trust their wives. He also told me that he regretted ever giving me the freedom to work as I liked. He said so many things that I had to cover my ear and stop myself from hearing them all. The more I listened to him, the more I realized that I had messed up so badly, and the man that once adored me was now disgusted by everything that related to me. His words cut so deep that I was immensely embarrassed. He told me that he was even more disappointed that I chose to keep it from him for so many days and even up to 3 weeks. I tried to explain, even though I was stuttering and nothing sensible came out of my mouth. He didn't give me a chance to speak, and he just grabbed his car keys and left the house. I spent hours on the floor thinking about what happened and pinching myself so I could wake up and realize it has all been a dream. I had ruined my life for a few minutes with a stranger, and I had suffered it, and I am still suffering it in more ways than I could have ever imagined. I could not believe that just like that, my marriage was over, and it was all because of my decisions. Every day since that day has been the most miserable day of my life. I cannot even imagine what is going through his head. I know he despises me now, and the thought of that is making me go crazy. The thought that your husband who once loved you and showered you with so much affection now gets disgusted and ignores all your calls is very dreadful. I, for one, am still very shocked still. And even as I write this, I'm trying my best to get out of bed and leave the house because I have been stuck in the house for days. The only text message I got from Dane was that he was planning to get a divorce. He just warned me to sign the divorce papers immediately when it came and not try to make a scene, or else he would make sure I get humiliated. I don't underestimate his ability to keep to his words, and that is why I am not going to try to act out or hinder the divorce process. I also have a conscience, and I'll be evil if I try to make this divorce hard for him. Update 2. I'm now a divorcee. Wow, life has to be the most unpredictable thing human beings would ever face. The fact that a woman like me, who was married just 4 months ago and is now divorced in a very short time span, is crazy. Life has a way of humbling you in so many ways that you don't even know where to start from. I got karma, and it was very hard. Dane didn't even have to lift a finger before I regretted all my decisions all over again. In case you're wondering what has been happening for the past 4 months, I'll gladly tell you all because I've been itching to make this post. Just like I said I would, I signed the divorce papers without causing any drama because I knew that there was no need for me to do that. I knew that there was no use dragging it out and trying to play smart when I would end up being the fool at the end of the day. We were living in a rented apartment and did not have our own house, so there was no fight over property and all that stuff. I am also very thankful that we held out and did not have kids yet, or else it would have been very brutal if I had to be separated from my kids. I moved out of the apartment because I could not afford to pay for the apartment on my own, even though Dane decided he wanted to leave. I moved back to my aunt's house because I was living there before I got married. She's the one who has been a mother figure to me, and I can't tell you all she was not mad at me. The neighbors and every single person we knew were spreading rumors and giving their own calculated version of what happened. I never cared to modify anything that has been said about me because I just don't see the point. Even though some people are exaggerating and adding a little bit too much salt, I know they are not lying, and I brought it upon myself. If I have stayed faithful to my husband and not looked elsewhere, I would not have a reason to be embarrassed and become a laughingstock. Some people even call me damaged goods when they think I am not looking. But none of them got to me like the realization of what I'd done. I regret it every single day, and I don't know if the stigma would ever go away. I don't think any man can even come to the neighborhood without knowing the full stories because everyone seems to be talking about it. My aunt keeps reminding me that the rumors might never let me get married. It's been 4 months now, and I have said that I made a mistake and I'm over it. I've pitied myself long enough, and I've realized that regretting things and spending days remembering everything will not make or change anything. Dane has moved on with his life, and I deserve to move on with my life too. I have a career to get back to, and I need to start accepting the gigs that have been coming my way. I've learned my lesson, and it has taught me a lot, but that doesn't mean I should keep dwelling on the past. I've told my aunt that I only plan on staying with her for 2 more months before I move to New York. I have enough money saved up to open a dance studio and an office so that I can easily receive my clients. I've blocked all the background noises, and even when my aunt and other family members try to tell me what my ex-husband is up to and what is going on in his life, I always tell them I am not interested because I do not plan on reliving all those memories again. Well, that's all, guys. I'm just trying to get a place in New York before I move there. Brandon stopped contacting me 2 months before the divorce was finalized, and I have had my peace since then. I sincerely hope that no one makes the kind of bad decisions I've made, and women should just try their best to be more present and think about the consequences of their actions before they indulge any male gender. Also, remember to stay safe at bachelor parties, lol. Shalom, peace. If I could turn back the hands of time, I would. I'm currently in a state of chaos. My whole world is crumbling before me. For the first time in my life, I regret listening to my dad. I regret ever knowing him. Even more, I regret that he is my father. Hey, don't judge me. I love my dad so much, but he has ruined my life. Taking my dad's advice to cheat on my husband has made my life a living hell. I have done something that I'm not proud of and will regret for the rest of my life. What should I do, guys? I'm so scared right now. I don't know how my husband will react when he finds out I cheated on him. And it was my dad that gave me the ridiculous advice. My name is Kathy, and I'm a 24-year-old teacher, and I live in a small town called Burford, which is located on the River Windrush, in the Cotswolds, England. I'm married to my best friend. His name is Josh. Josh is a pilot. Josh and I have been married for 2 years now. I always describe Josh as my soulmate, my best friend, and everything. The more I think about it, the more I hate myself for what I have done. Josh and I have been together 6 years now, and we got married 2 years ago. Josh and I met when I was 18 years old, and ever since then, my life has been like a fairy tale until I cheated on Josh with our housekeeper, Charles. My dad advised me to cheat on Josh because before Josh and I got married, he clearly stated that he is not ready to be a father. He told me without mincing any words that he doesn't want children. I was taken aback a little, but I love Josh so much, and I thought I could change his mind after marriage, and that our love can conquer all. But I was wrong. Josh remained adamant about not wanting children. He went as far as having a vasectomy when he saw how desperate I became. My dad advised me to cheat on Josh with someone else, so I could get pregnant. My dad knows how much I love children. It was my love for children that made me become a teacher in the first place. I love teaching. Teaching is my passion. I love spending time with children. That's why my dad advised me to cheat on Josh and get pregnant to test Josh's love for me. It will just be a one-time thing, he said. According to my dad, if Josh truly loved me as he claims, he would forgive me for cheating on him and accept me in the pregnancy. I listened to my dad, guys. I cheated on Josh with our housekeeper, Charles. Please don't judge me. I was desperate. I'm disgusted by my actions. It's been 3 months now and I'm not pregnant. I think I have ruined my once happy and perfect life. Josh doesn't know what happened yet. I've managed to keep it a secret from him for the past 3 months. I know I'm shameless and selfish for doing that, but I really do not have an explanation. My survival instinct and desire to keep my marriage just kicked in, and I desired to keep my mouth shut and keep everything from Josh. I know telling Josh I cheated on him to get pregnant and to test his love for me could end our marriage. Josh is a good man. He doesn't deserve this betrayal from me. He always told me that if at any point in our marriage I wanted to leave and go, start another family, that I should not hesitate, but I can't imagine my life without Josh. My life without Josh has no meaning. I couldn't bring myself to leave Josh even though I wanted children. I don't know what to do now. Should I confess to Josh, or I should continue pretending like nothing has happened? Update. Hi guys, it's me again. I decided to keep this secret with me forever, but Charles, my housekeeper whom I slept with, is blackmailing me. He is demanding a huge sum of money from me, or else he will expose our one-time affair to Josh. I'm confused right now. It turned out he has pictures and videos of everything that happened on that fateful day. What was I thinking? Why did I listen to my dad? The same man who could not stay faithful to my mom. The same man who has been married and divorced for 3 consecutive times. I mean, I love my dad so much. He is a good father, but was never a good husband to my mom or any of his other wives. It was his fatherly love for me that made him advise me to cheat on Josh and get pregnant so I can test whether Josh truly loves me. But things didn't go as planned, and now I'm stuck with the consequences of my actions. I can't believe I used my own hands to ruin my life. Josh is beginning to suspect me. He has been asking what's wrong with me. According to him, I'm no longer the bubbly Kathy he fell for and got married to, and that I have become a shadow of myself. He said something is wrong somewhere, but he can't place it yet. Josh has been trying to put a smile on my face, which is making me feel more guilty. He suggested we go on vacation after school closes for the session. He has been getting me expensive gifts just to cheer me up. One thing about Josh is he can go to any length just to see me happy. There's nothing Josh will not do except having kids, of course. He never told me why he doesn't want kids, but whatever the reason is, I don't care at this point because I know I messed up. On one hand, I'll hate myself for cheating on Josh with Charles. On the other side is Charles blackmailing me and asking me for a huge amount of money I don't have. Where will I get the money from now? I'm just a preschool teacher. I can't afford the amount of money he is asking me to pay. What should I do? Should I ask Josh for the money and pay Charles, or should I confess everything to Josh? Update. Hey guys. I'm back again. I paid Charles off. I asked Josh to give me the money, and he was surprised because I have never made that kind of outrageous demand before. He asked me what I needed the money for and lied to him that my dad is down with kidney failure and needs a kidney transplant urgently. Josh gave me the money immediately and said he will make out time to see my dad soon. He's a pilot and has to be ready for his flights, so he has no time on his hands. I hope that he never has a chance to meet my dad yet, because if that happens, and Josh ever finds out I cheated on him with Charles, and that I lied about my dad having a kidney transplant, that will be the end of my beautiful marriage. I'm forever dreading that day. Hopefully Charles is gone. I paid Charles the money he requested, and I asked him to resign from his job as our housekeeper, and he should also destroy the pictures and videos. He has resigned, but he refused to destroy the pictures and videos. There was nothing I could do, so I let it go. I was just happy because he was out of my sight. I really hope he is gone for good, because the more I see him, the more guilty I feel. My life had been back to normal since Charles got out of my life. Don't get me wrong, I still felt guilty from time to time, but I was finding peace with myself again. So I thought until Josh asked for us to go pay my dad a visit. What was I thinking? Nothing can be hidden forever. Definitely not a lie. What should I do now? Josh is asking, we go see Dad after I told him the surgery is successful and he is recovering well at home. I'm lost right now. How should I handle this? Josh will find out the truth when we go to my dad's house, and he finds out my dad was never sick and didn't have a kidney transplant. I'm on the verge of breaking down right now. I can't breathe well. I don't know what to do right now. My dad has ruined my life. I wish he truly has kidney failure. Well, not really. Taking my dad's advice has ruined everything for me. I can't even recognize myself again. I'm desperate right now. Yes, I'm desperate to save my marriage. I'm losing my mind right now. Should I confess everything to Josh? Not that I have a choice, right? Update. Hey guys, it's me again. I didn't confess, at least not yet. I called my dad and told everything that had happened. I asked him to fix the mess. Yes, he caused everything. I blame my dad for everything, but I can't deny I also played a part. I wish I didn't listen to him, but it's too late to apportion blame now, and I have gone too far in lying to turn back. My dad called Josh and thanked him for the money. He asked him not to visit now, as he is not allowed to receive visitors for now, because according to the doctors, his immune system is low, which makes him more vulnerable to diseases and might make his recovery hard. Once again, I escaped being caught, and my dad's little lie has saved me. I told you all he is a good father to some extent, but I'm not dumb, and I know that all this is just temporary. Josh is smart, and it's only a matter of time before he finds out the truth. Everything seemed to be fine, but it was just temporary. I almost forgot to tell you all that Charles showed up in my house again, this time, with ridiculous demands. Charles is asking for more money. Apparently, he gambled away all the money I gave him, and he is back for more, just like people like him do. He is also asking to transfer the ownership of our house to him, or else he will expose everything to Josh. This demand is ridiculous, but I don't have a choice. I'm desperate. I want to save my marriage. I asked him to give me time to think about everything, but he refused. He vowed to take everything from me. He turned me into a housekeeper in my own house, and he pretends to visit us just to remind me of what I owe him. He asks me to serve him food when Josh is not around, and sometimes he makes me do his laundry secretly. All these are outrageous, but a lie once told always has to be covered with more lies. Until I'm ready to tell the truth, I can't do anything. Charles knows that, and that's why he's threatening me. I was living in fear in my own house because I was afraid of what Charles would do next. Some weeks later, Josh returned back from his trip and met Charles in our home. He was displeased to see Charles because we had already hired another housekeeper after Charles resigned without giving him any notice. He demanded to know why Charles was in our house again because his visits became frequent, but Charles was unnecessarily rude to him. Josh called me into our bedroom and asked why I allowed Charles into our home. I had to make up something before I got caught. I told him Charles was stranded and that I'm just squatting him and that he will be gone in a day or two. Josh reluctantly allowed Charles to stay but gave 2 days to leave. Guys, you already know what that meant, right? It meant I had 2 days to settle Charles or else he would expose me. I decided to give Charles what he wanted, yes. I decided to steal Josh's money and also decided to meet with my attorney and transfer the house to Charles. He promised. After that, he will delete the pictures and videos and I will finally be free. Josh will never get to know about my affair with Charles and the lies I have told so far. I sound stupid, and I know what I want to do is risky, but I never want to lose my husband. I'm desperate. What have I done to myself? Update. I got caught, guys, yes. You read that right. Josh finally caught me. I have been exposed. My karma came early. The lies I have been trying to hide have been exposed. I didn't know Josh installed a CCTV camera in our home. He has been monitoring me ever since I requested that huge money for my dad's allegedly kidney transplant. He listened to my conversations, and he knows about my affairs with Charles. He told me he was waiting for the right time to confront me, and no better time than now that I'm trying to transfer our house to Charles. The day I wanted to steal the money and house documents, Josh had gone for a trip. I thought it was the perfect time to take the documents and some money. I didn't know Josh had taken every valuable thing from the safe. I saw an empty safe. I was shocked. I didn't know what had happened. At first I suspected Charles, but if it was Charles, he wouldn't still be there. I summoned some courage and called Josh. I called Josh and told him our house had been robbed. He was calm, which was even more alarming. It was then he told me he took everything from the safe and that he was aware of everything I have done. I was perplexed. He said he was only waiting to see how far I was ready to go, and surprisingly, I went very far. He asked me to leave his house before he got back from the trip. He ended the call immediately. I tried calling back, but he blocked me and I wasn't able to reach him. So after the call, it felt like my whole life had crumbled. The first thing I did was to get Charles out of my house. Of course, he threatened to expose everything to Josh, and I told him I didn't care. He refused to go, and he even wanted to go physical with me, but our new housekeeper came just in time to save me. I called security, and they threw Charles out of the house. Josh arrived 2 days later, and he was angry I was still in the house. He was furious. I have never seen him that angry. I tried to explain everything to him, but he refused to listen. All efforts to make him listen to me proved abortive. He despised me, and I could tell from looking at his eyes. He said it was over and that I should leave his house. I tried begging him, but he was adamant about me leaving. One toxic thing about Josh is that he never changes his mind once his mind has been made up. Josh threw my boxes outside and instructed the security never to allow me into the house ever again. He asked me to return the money he gave me for my dad's alleged kidney transplant. He took everything he ever bought for me. He did not allow me to take anything except my boxes. He took the keys of the car he bought for me, the jewelry, and everything he ever provided for me without any remorse. Josh asked me to sign the divorce papers before leaving, but I refused because deep down I thought he still loved me and we could still work on our marriage. Of course, I knew he was angry, but I thought time would heal everything, and he would forgive me for cheating on him. I thought he loved me so much that he would never let me go. As a matter of fact, I used to believe I was his weakness, his best friend and soulmate. I used to think that no matter what, he would always come back to me and we can work on our marriage. I'm not perfect, neither is Josh perfect. We are two imperfect souls. But now I don't think that's possible because Josh has ignored my whole existence. Update. Hey guys, it's me. I'm back again. What I feared the most has happened. I'm divorced now. Yes, I'm single. This is not how I pictured my life. I never knew I ever got divorced because I married an incredible man that loved me so much, but unfortunately I jeopardized everything. When Josh and I got married 2 years ago, I vowed to never get divorced. I always hated divorce because of the stigma that comes with it. My dad has been married and divorced 3 times in a row, and I have seen how society stigmatized him. I never knew I would one day follow in his footsteps. After Josh sent me away that day, I left for my dad's place. He was surprised when he saw me because he wasn't expecting me. When I narrated everything to him, he opened his arms wide and hugged me. I pushed him away and blamed him for everything. I told him things I regretted later because even though he advised me to cheat on my husband, he He never put a gun to my head to do it. I told him horrible things, how he had been married and divorced 3 times, how he is a failure, how never loved anybody but himself. And my dad listened to everything I had to say and never said a word. Later, when I was calmer, he called me. I thought he wanted to scold me for cursing him, but instead he apologized. He admitted to being wrong. That is the first time I'm my dad accepting his wrongs. My dad is an egoistic man. He never accepts he is wrong. Even though his 3 marriages ended in divorce, he didn't fault himself. Instead, he blamed the women for being after his money. He told me he is sorry for ruining my life and that he thought I would get pregnant after the affair and have my own child because he knows how much I love children. That was why I chose teaching as a profession. He promised he will go see Josh the next day. I was anxious about how the meeting would go, but I still allowed my dad to go see Josh. Maybe when Josh hears the truth from my dad, he will have a change of mind and forgive me. I mean, I know it was selfish of me to sleep with our housekeeper because I wanted to have a child, but I still had hope he might forgive me when he hears the truth that it was my dad's idea. Josh respects my dad so much, he will listen to him and forgive me, and everything will be back to how it used to be. So I thought, but I was wrong. That day I waited for my dad to return from Josh's place, but he never came back. I tried calling his line several times, but there was no response. I was devastated and worried. My mind was all over the place. I decided to visit Josh the next day to find out about where my dad was, but I was denied entrance into the house by the security at the gate. I tried calling Josh, but he blocked my line so I could not reach him. I decided to go to the police station and complain about my dad's disappearance. Nothing prepared me for the shock I experienced when I saw my dad at the police station. Apparently, Josh arrested my dad when he came to apologize. Things got heated between them, and he arrested my dad. When I asked the policeman for the proof, I discovered that Josh accused my dad of extorting money from him through me by pretending to be down with a kidney failure. My dad was arrested on the count of fraud. Josh gave me 2 conditions before he will bail my dad. I finally saw him after I made a scene outside the gate. He asked the security to let me in. When I came in, I saw another woman in my matrimonial home wearing my nightie. I could not believe my eyes. How Josh moved on so soon, I thought we were soulmates. I thought we were destined to be together forever. I was so disappointed I couldn't even cry. The lady gave me a distraught look and said in her exact words, "Why are you here?" I ignored her and made my way upstairs, but she blocked me. She told me to wait downstairs, that Josh will soon be down. I couldn't believe there was a stranger in my house wearing my nightie and asking me not to go see my husband in our bedroom. While I was trying to process everything, Josh came downstairs, and he was even more furious than he was before when he sent me packing. He asked to leave. I begged him to please release my dad from the police station, and he gave 2 conditions. 1, that I will refund double of the money he gave me for my dad's alleged kidney transplant, and 2, that I will sign the divorce papers. I tried begging him, but he refused to listen and threatened to throw me out if I'm not ready to accept his conditions. When I saw his mind was made up, I stopped begging and accepted my fate. At that moment, I was ready to sign the divorce papers. My poor father was suffering in the police station, and I will go to any length to see him released. Nothing matters to me again than my dad's freedom. I have lost my marriage, my best friend, and my soulmate. I cannot lose my dad too. I accepted his conditions. I signed the divorce papers, and he gave me 24 hours to raise the money. My whole world was crumbling just as I had feared. I could not believe what was happening to me. I sold my dad's house so I could meet up with Josh's deadline. That was the only inheritance my dad left for me. I had to sell it to raise money. I also sold all the furniture we had in the house. I gave the money to Josh and my dad was released. Update. Hi guys, I'm back again. After Dad was released, we became homeless. There was no house to come back to because I had sold everything. Thankfully, he moved in with his brother while I went to squat with my friend. You would think after the divorce, Josh will finally allow me to be, but you guessed wrong. He has decided to continue frustrating my life. He made sure I was sacked from the school I taught at. He knows I love teaching, and he is trying to take everything I love from me. Like I said, Josh is a pilot, so he has the finances and connections to do whatever he likes. Even though I worked, I solely depended on his money. I was sacked, and life became more miserable. I couldn't even afford a sanitary pad. I can still feed thanks to my childhood friend Monica. She offered me food and shelter while I continued job hunting. Josh made the principal in my former school spread lies about me, that I'm unprofessional with children. So it was hard for me to secure a job. Josh vowed to make my life a living hell, and he succeeded. The more I applied for jobs, the more rejection later I got. I never imagined that something like that was possible, but I'm a testimony. I was devastated. Worst of all, my dad was sick, and I couldn't afford to buy drugs for him. I was dead broke. My poor dad never recovered from being locked up by the very man he took like a son he never had. My dad was fond of Josh. They played golf together whenever my dad visited, and Josh would let him win all the time. They were so fond of each other. Everything happened so fast, now all that is left is regret. My dad has been down ever since everything happened, whether it's the guilt of destroying his only child marriage, or the fact that he lost his house, or being locked up by the person he once loved like a son. He blames himself, and I see the guilt in his eyes every day. Even though Josh and I are divorced, I have always fantasized about getting back together. I never lost hope. You can imagine my happiness when I got a message from Josh to come to the house that he had a surprise for me. I was happy. I thought finally he forgave me and he was ready for us to start over again. This time, ready to spend forever with him, I'm ready to let go of my thoughts of having my own children. I was so excited I dashed out barefooted, but I had to run back. I pinched myself to make sure I wasn't dreaming. I never knew this day would ever come. My dream of reuniting with Josh, my ex-husband, was cut short again. I never knew he wanted to give me a lifetime humiliation. I arrived at Josh's place, and it was like a carnival. Everybody was present. I was happy. I thought he was about to ask me to marry him again like he did the first time. So I thought, silly me, I never knew what was awaiting me. When I got to the living room, all eyes were on me. I wanted to disappear. Everyone gave me a disdainful look. It felt like a witch had just walked in. I felt unwanted. No one answered my greetings. Everybody avoided me. I wanted to leave when I saw Monica, my best friend, who I have been staying with ever since the divorce. I felt relaxed again. I thought Josh had contacted Monica so they could organize a surprise party for me. How delusional. I called Monica and she avoided me like everyone else. I thought they didn't want to give the surprise away. That is why everyone is avoiding me, but I was wrong. While I was putting everything together, I saw Josh's mom and I went to say hi to her, but she also ignored me. I'm not surprised by actions because she never ignored me. She never wanted Josh to marry me because to her I was a gold digger. She even went as far as trying to buy me off so I could leave her son. But I rejected the money. I kept this away from Josh because I didn't want to cause a rift between them. I know how much Josh adorned his mother. Josh came downstairs after some time, but I was surprised he also avoided me. I thought he had called me for something else. It was then that I finally began to realize that I had been brought to face my own humiliation. But I just sat there like a fool. He went straight to the front, took the microphone from the music band, and went one knee. But nobody prepared me for what came next. I was expecting Josh to walk towards me and tell me he forgave me, but I was wrong. He walked up to Monica, my best friend, and I was shocked. I didn't know what was happening. I was even more shocked when Monica held hands with him. Josh went on to tell everyone how I cheated on him with our housekeeper, Charles, and how I planned with my dad so we could take over his property. He went on to tell the guests how I wanted to make him lose his job. I was very shocked because I never said any of that. I mean, have you guys ever been in a situation where lies are being told about you? Apparently, when I was being blackmailed by Charles and I ran to Monica to see whether she could lend me some money and had to tell her everything, she backstabbed me. She betrayed me and went behind my back to tell Josh lies. I finally understood why Josh had refused to listen to me. The lies were ridiculous and like something out of a movie, but Josh believed her. I finally understood why he was using every means to hurt me. Josh believed Monica because Monica is my best friend. The shocker is Monica was my maid of honor at our wedding. How could she betray me like this? Monica has always wanted a husband like mine. She never always told me that. I always suspected she had a crush on Josh, but I never knew she would stab me like this. I just thought her side remarks about my marriage were normal and that I had nothing to worry about. I'd always been so busy thinking of having a child that I stopped paying attention to details. I finally understood what Josh meant when he said he would take everything away from me. I have lost everything: my husband, my marriage, and now my best friend. I wanted to leave the party, but I was stopped by Josh's mom. She told me how she warned me 6 years ago to leave her son, but I refused. But she told me something I will forever be grateful for. She told me the reason Josh doesn't want kids. Can you guys guess the reason? It's because Josh was neglected as a child by his father. His father never treated him with love. His father always cursed him. Josh's father was a violent man, and he was a drunkard. It's surprising that a drunk was able to birth a child as good as Josh. Josh didn't want to have kids because he thought he'd start drinking like his father and blame his child for his faults. It hurts me that he refused to tell me something this deep before we got married. After listening to the reason Josh doesn't want kids, the hate I had for him vanished and felt pity for him. Instead of hating Josh, I was feeling sorry for him. Why didn't he tell me this? I would have held his hand till the very end. I guess the reason he didn't tell me was because he didn't want me to feel sorry for him. Well, I had to stop feeling sorry for him when I realized my ex-husband and ex-best friend got married. Yes, you read that right. Josh and Monica got married, and the wedding was a lot. After the betrayal from Josh and Monica, I decided to forge my life with what was left. I managed to find a job at a retail store as a sales rep. The manager was kind enough to allow me to sleep in the store after work. Update. Hi guys, I'm back again. Life has been tough. I have been through a lot, but I'm grateful for the little progress. I'm beginning to pick up my life again. One piece at a time. Life was moving slowly but steady until I met Charles again. That was the beginning of another endless journey of blackmail. Apparently, he still had the naked pictures and videos of me on his phone. He vowed to post them online if I don't do as he says. Every day he will come by the retail store to ask me for more money. Slowly, I started losing everything I had managed to gather again. I was confused and lost. I was slowly becoming a shadow of myself again. Things got worse. I had to quit and stop working at the retail store because Charles was asking me to steal money from the store and give it to him so he can use it to gamble, or else he will post my nude on all social media. I had to quit because the manager has been so nice to me, and I don't want to hurt her by stealing from her. She took me in and trusted me at a time where everyone is guarded and protective of their space. I didn't want to break that trust. After her, I tendered my resignation letter to her. She asked me why I wanted to quit my job or if I have gotten any better offer. I refused to tell her, but she insisted I tell her, or she won't accept my resignation. After so much thought, I decided to open up to her. I told her everything that I have been through. After telling her everything, she felt pity for me and advised me to report to the appropriate authorities, but Charles had warned me that the moment I involved the police, he would post my pictures on all social media. I decided to not inform the police because I can't bear to see my nude online. After my resignation, I decided to run away to my uncle's place in Clovelly, Devon, England. But before I could leave, I didn't know how Charles got to know I was trying to run away. My worst nightmare finally came to pass. Charles had uploaded my nude on all social media platforms, and it was trending. Everyone in the town gossiped about me. I was the talk of the town. Everyone blamed me for leaving my husband and getting in bed with an ordinary housekeeper. No one cared to ask me the reason I did what I did. They all judged me and called me names. I felt that was the end and I didn't want to live again. I have lost everything because of a silly mistake I made. I wished I never listened to my father's advice. I wished I never even visited him on the fateful day. I lost everything the very day I got in bed with Charles. I wished I never hired him when he came crying a year ago that he needed a job. I took pity on him and gave him a job. Now he has become torn in my flesh. I finally left the town and went to stay with my dad and uncle in Clovelly. With the help of my uncle, I was able to secure a job as a teacher in a nearby school. Life was beginning to make sense again, and my relationship with my dad never got to how it was before, because I blamed him for ruining my life. I have forgiven him, but I can't seem to forget. The scar is forever fresh in my heart. Josh and Monica are still together. I hope Josh finds all the happiness I couldn't give him in Monica. As for Charles, I heard he was arrested and sent to jail. I've had a rough life, and I can't imagine that a single decision led to many consequences. I can't believe that I've gone from having it all to having nothing at all. My life became a bad movie, and I'm still trying to process everything. Well, I hope everyone learns from my story and doesn't make the kind of mistakes I made. Also, never let other people's opinion make your choices in life. Don't marry a person whose life doesn't follow yours. Know that it's not all advice you should take, and definitely not from a man who has been divorced 3 times. Lol. Thanks and goodbye.